We've received the intake delete cover. For clearance, I'm removing the crankcase breather so that the cover will fit. We have a new shorter breather and oil catch can that we will install in its place later on. I'm mainly just curious to see how the cover looks with the new intakes. So these are the Motodemic headlight brackets, and to put them on you slip one into the other. And this is nice because you don't have to take the top triple off to install the headlight brackets. You can simply slide them into each other. They come in a number of sizes. Some of the sizes you'll need to use a shim, like in this case we'll have to use our silicone shim to get the clamping right, because this is a 34mm bore and our fork tube is 33mm. So depending on your setup, you may want to flip these brackets to the outside, right? And then you can mount the ear to the outside, making it wider, or you can mount the bracket to the inside and making it more narrow. With our particular fork setup and headlight, we want to push this in as far as we can. So we're going to mount this part to the inside to reduce the width, and then we're going to mount the ear on the inside as well to make it even more narrow. The headlight bucket we're using is a 6.5. So again, depending on your fork width and the headlight bucket that you're using, you'll have to figure out which way you want to mount these. These are the blaze pins. You can see inside of there, there's a little reflector that makes it project forward, which makes these directional. We'll be using the turn signals to mount the headlight bucket. Since the turn signals are directional, having them thread in and face forward is next to impossible. To solve this, we will be drilling out the headlight bucket and using nuts to fasten the headlight. Doing so will allow us to keep the correct orientation of the turn signals. Here I'm routing the throttle cables. You want as large as possible bends to prevent the internal throttle cables from binding. This will also prolong the life of the cable by reducing the movement when turning. Now that I know the desired length, I'm using a simple cable cutter to cut through the steel braided line. The end of the throttle cable has a soldered ferrule. This ferrule will pass through the larger hole and into the slot where it will be locked in place by the needle clip.
Sky. I'm happy to fly away. Up north where the lakes are crystal clear. They're happy to fly away. Birds in the sky are just like you and me, babe. Deers in the forest, they're happy to run away. Up north where trees are kissing the clouds, they're happy to run away. Deers in the forest are just like you and me, babe.
To sync the carbs, I'm using same size drills in each carb. Here I'm watching to see which moves first and rotating the cable adjuster at the top of the carb until the drills move simultaneously. These carbs do not have vacuum ports, so a traditional sync tool is not possible. Later on, once the motor is running, we can use an airflow meter to double check our adjustment. Idle adjust screws are adjusted to the same amount prior to the syncing process.
Is it alright if I stay today? Is it alright if I stay today? Take my time, far behind, leave my pride. Alright if we just stay today? Is it alright? 'Cause I wish we could just stay. Take our time, far behind, leave our pride. Alright if I decide but change my mind, is that okay? Is it alright if I don't wanna feel obliged in any way? Is it alright if I waste my time and not lead myself to a mistake?
The LED brake light is rather stiff, so heating it for a few seconds with the heat gun allows me to pre-bend the arc. Doing so, the tape will adhere much better. Alright, so today we got the headlight bucket mounted using the Blaze Pin turn signals. We didn't mount the actual headlight projector just yet because we have a number of the housings getting polished nickel plated, and so it'll give it kind of a gold hue and a really good shine. So I'm excited to see how those come out, and then also, you know, when we go to wire the bike, we'll have a number of wires housed inside of the headlight bucket. So until we get that done, there's really no point in mounting the actual headlight because we're just going to have to take it back off. So we did get in the intake delete cover. I threw it up there just to, you know, see what it looks like. I'm very pleased with how that looks next to the carbs and the new intakes. You know, the motor and the way that the motor drops down. I really like the look of it next to the gas tank and everything. It just kind of, you know, you've got the big front end, and then it just kind of narrows down. It almost looks like the older BMWs, like the /2, where they're kind of coming down instead of coming up with the intake filter. I'm actually shooting this part of the video before I mount the M unit and the voltage regulator, maybe even the tail light. I got to shoot this part before I run out of daylight, so hopefully I get that done so we can include it on this video. And oh, the throttle cables, I went ahead and wrapped those in sheathing. That sheathing is what we'll be using on the electrical wiring, so you know, it'll kind of give it a more uniform look between the throttle cables and the electrical wiring. So I like the look of it. For whatever reason, throttle cables, making them has always been a pain for me. You start to assemble something and then you forget that you forgot to put something on there, and then you have to take everything back apart, undo the furls, all that kind of stuff, or you cut a cable too short and now you have to start all over. So, you know, in this case we're using the Gelato carbs, so there isn't an off-the-shelf cable that I could have used to make my life easier, but you know, it is what it is, and we finally got it done. And as always, the products used in today's videos are listed in the links below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.